Imagine chasing your dream for years, only to realize you're probably never going to make it. Most people would have accepted reality. Grégoire Akcelrod decided reality was negotiable because instead of becoming a better footballer, he became a better salesman, and somehow, it almost worked. Football has seen its fair share of frauds, players diving, managers blaming the referee, Manchester United after Sir Alex Ferguson. But Grégoire Akcelrod wasn't trying to fake one match. He was trying to fake an entire football career. During the late 2000s, Akcelrod was an amateur footballer in France with one goal: to become a professional. The problem was that talent alone wasn't opening any doors. So according to multiple reports, he built himself a new identity. He created a polished football website, uploaded highlight videos, assembled an impressive-looking resume, and even altered newspaper match reports by replacing Nicolas Anelka's name with his own to make his career appear far more accomplished than it really was. It was basically the football equivalent of editing Forbes magazine, so it says you're richer than Elon Musk, and hoping nobody notices. One detail made his story especially convincing. Akcelrod had genuinely played for a very low-level amateur team associated with Paris Saint-Germain. He wasn't inventing PSG out of thin air, but several reports suggest the way he presented photographs of himself in a PSG shirt at the Parc des Princes, along with his football history, gave the impression that he had been much closer to the professional club than was actually the case. Think of it like taking a selfie outside Harvard, then letting people assume you graduated from there. Armed with this carefully crafted image, Akcelrod began sending his profile to clubs across Europe. Most ignored him. Some invited him for trials. Then, in the summer of 2009, something unbelievable happened. Bulgarian giants CSKA Sofia, fresh from qualifying for the UEFA Champions League, offered him a trial. Imagine opening your email expecting another rejection, only to discover one of the biggest clubs in Eastern Europe wants to see you train. At that point, even Grégoire must have thought, well, this escalated quickly. Exactly what happened during those few days remains the most disputed part of the story. Multiple reports claim that after 2 or 3 training sessions, CSKA Sofia prepared a 3-year contract reportedly worth around €15,000 to €17,000 per month, took official photographs of Akcelrod wearing the club's kit, and briefly announced his arrival. However, years later, Akcelrod disputed parts of that narrative, arguing that media reports exaggerated how close he really came to signing. So rather than pretending we know every detail, here's what isn't disputed. He trained with CSKA Sofia. The club's interest attracted attention. And then, the internet did what the internet always does. It investigated. Curious supporters searched for information about this mysterious French footballer. They visited PSG forums asking if anyone remembered him. The answers were less than encouraging. Nobody seemed to know who he was. As football fans dug deeper into his background, more inconsistencies appeared. Within days, online discussions turned into newspaper articles. The story spread across Europe, and whatever opportunity existed quickly disappeared. Depending on which sources you trust, Akcelrod either came remarkably close to signing a professional contract or became the victim of a story that grew larger every time it was retold. But one thing is undeniable. An amateur footballer managed to attract the attention of professional clubs largely through confidence, networking, and the image he built around himself. Years later, Akcelrod reinvented himself once again, this time legitimately becoming a FIFA-licensed football agent and working within the professional game from the business side rather than on the pitch. Ironically, after spending years trying to convince clubs he belonged in football, he eventually built a real career inside it. His story isn't really about football, it's about perception. It reminds us that before people judge your ability, they usually judge your story. And sometimes, if the story is convincing enough, doors begin to open before anyone asks for proof. Just don't try editing your LinkedIn profile to say you played for Real Madrid. Trust me, HR tends to ask awkward questions. It's convincing people you were always supposed to walk through it.